Hello everyone, this is Schultzy, and I'd like to say thank you, Thank you, Patrick Herrick. Honestly, you pointed me in this direction of a video game that honestly is sponsored by the state. Honestly, I thank you. I will have his link in the description and the description of what his link he gave me. I thank you again. This is very helpful. I like to say thank you again. I can't say that enough. But on to the thing proper. What he showed me was a female and state-sponsored, $100,000 sponsored this for making a video game. And honestly, when you first showed me this, you rendered me speechless. Honestly, just seeing this, I was just like this driver, just what the fuck moment, like what? And honestly, the info it boggled my mind. This game, honestly, I have to say, smells like one, looks like one, acts like one, just in the general sense, just looking at it. But at its core, this thing is a propaganda game. Now, honestly, you may not believe me, you may be saying, oh, you're overlooking it, but think about this. It's function sponsored by the state, and it's pushing a specific viewpoint, not a generic one, not one that is universal, focusing on one viewpoint. Games are very powerful, and intentionally or unintentionally, they can inform or influence people about many things. Like any other media, we need to be respectful of what one is doing. It is also a powerful media that allows us to explore new worlds and learn things about our world and ourselves. And honestly, these games can influence us in later generations. The strength of exploring and informing can be a very dangerous thing, because they can be easily used for evil notions and horrible ideas for total indoctrination. Be it what Hitler did with his stuff, books can be inflammatory for the wrong reasons. And media can be used to change one's perspective. If one only gets this, it is something that we can honestly easily be misinformed. The game has been paid for by the government with $100,000 of tax revenue. Right off the bat, this should set off a red flag. And honestly, the whole thing is called Her Adventures. It's about a young female superhero sent to Earth to save her planet from destruction. In which this idea sounds great. Until you really look. Honestly, it's a great idea. It's a great springboard, but honestly, its actions, as I said, it was funded by the state, which starts me looking at it. The state really doesn't function anything unless it put home its own ideas and notions. Fine, okay. And it's supposed to be about she's sent to Earth to save her world because of climate change caused by social issues impacting women and girls. This is where a red flag just should be popping up, sirens going off saying propaganda game, because this is not something that's talking about just issues that should be talked about. It's talking about one person's perspective, one person's problems, not a society's or issues that should be talked about. Just, oh, these people are hurt. This is what makes me kind of start getting iffy on this already. This, in and of itself, put out there is just saying that women's issues are more important, and that environmental issues are only affecting women and girls. The issue of environmental problems don't just affect men or women, they affect all of us. And focusing on the fact that this is only affecting women and she's supposed to be from a female society, this is a little concerning, because this is in and of itself, intentionally or not, is saying women's issues are more important. This is saying that climate issues affect women, not people, which bothers me. Because honestly, you got to make games universal to point out many things. And it's also saying it's going to go talking about the notions of negative self-esteem, discrimination, body image, and depression, which in and of itself is not only affecting girls, it affects men and women. Just saying it affects girls is a very negative connotation. This is horrible. This is saying, oh, men don't matter, but women are more important. These problems are not just problems, as I said before, for women. They're for men and women. This game, in and of itself, is setting up the idea and notion that females have horrible things stacked against them, and that females' issues in hardships that they go through are worse than men, and the fact that there's no mention of men whatsoever in this, which is like, it's like saying there are issues, these issues that they point out that they want to address are not mutually exclusive to women. They're neither exclusive to men either. And the fact that saying that these this influence is saying it's affecting women only. By omitting this, it's saying it's affecting men only, which concerns me because it doesn't. And I honestly, whether or not this was intentional or not, this already sets up a horrible notion. And honestly, this can be very harmful to people in general. It will harm men and women because setting the notion that women are needing more help or men are needing more help are bad. We both equally need help. And social issues like this, depression, suicide, body image, discrimination against is not one gender's own problem. The idea of a female superhero is fine, but setting up this idea that female needs are more important and the only problems that is wrong with society or any problems is problematic. Also, the problem that they are spoken about are universal problems and not unique to either gender. Some might say that I am looking too deep into this. I say video games are very powerful media that can be used for entertainment, education, and can be used as tools to inform or misinform. And this is the biggest thing. Media is a powerful tool that must be looked at carefully. Misuse of any media to misinform or influence people in a horrible notion is a bad thing. Ideas can be gotten across through these games, and honestly, if you put out horrible ideas and misinform people, it's horrible. Extra critics talked about propaganda games and bad in games that misinform. This is something that needs to be thought on. You cannot, in good conscience, put out a game focusing on one person. You need to make things that can relatable to everyone. Because honestly, if you relate to one person, it's horrible because it's not focusing on serious issues. It's focusing on one issue without talking about serious problems. It's focusing on, oh, it's problematic for one person, but no one else. And honestly, all I'm trying to say is that our medium is super powerful, and it is a huge industry. And honestly, we need to take responsible actions for what's being made and what's being put out. That it is irreprehensible just to dismiss a game or not even think about a game, just saying, oh, it's just fine, they're just trying to do this. This is a slippery slope that we can go on. And honestly, if this is a reprehensible piece of crap, I will talk about this, but I will not pass full judgment until the game is fully out there and I will play it and I will dissect it, because honestly, you should not let games that are horrible pass, and us as a community should not let things pass that are bad. All games should be under the same, all media, and games included, should be under the same scrutiny and respect as any other media. And our community should be respectful, but also be responsible to call out bad games and bad things, because they will affect us. It shows poorly on us. Even if you feel it is a social motivator that you need to push this point across, you should always make it balanced, because if you just say one person is more important or this issue is more important, and say it's more important for one nationality, race, or gender, that's horrible, because all these things influence everyone. Saying one nationality, one race, one sex, one gender is more important than the other, that is horrible. That is just intentionally or not, that is a horrible thing. I'd like to say, Pat, thank you for pointing this out. This took me a long time to write this down because it was it just shocked me. It just was a brick wall of my mind trying to wrap my head around this. And I'd like to say, everyone, thank you for listening. Please tell me what you think, and thank you, and good night.